Hey, what's up, guys? This is my Last of Us episode 9, which is also the season finale. This is my review for that episode. And right off the bat, two things I want to talk about. The beginning of the episode. This is where you see Ellie's mom as she's running from a runner. And obviously she's pregnant with Ellie. Now, what I love about this scene is it actually shows you how Ellie became immune, because Ellie's mom was in the process of, she was about to start giving labor to Ellie, but because the runner was running after her, Ellie's mom ran into this house, which I think was probably a Firefly safe house or whatever. So Anna runs into the room, locks the door, her water breaks, and she's in labor. And as she's in labor, that's when the runner breaks into the house, runs upstairs, busts down the door, and they get into a struggle, and Anna stabs the runner with a knife. But right before she kills the runner, she gets bit on the leg. And then a few seconds after that, that's when Ellie is born. And the thing is, Anna got bit right before giving birth to Ellie. And plus, when she gave birth to Ellie, the umbilical cord was still attached. And I'm assuming that the cordyceps somehow was able to travel through that umbilical cord and get into Ellie before Anna was able to cut the umbilical cord. So, in a way, Ellie's immunity is similar to how Blade became a vampire in the Blade franchise. Blade's mom was attacked by a vampire while she was pregnant with Blade, and he ended up getting some of the vampiric powers. And basically Ellie was able to get some of the cordyceps, from Ellie's mom getting bit. So I like how they show that. And it also shows that Marlene knew Anna. They were good friends, they best of friends, I think. And she told Marlene to, look after Ellie or make sure that she's safe. And then Anna told her to take her baby out the room, and then for Marlene to kill her. And Marlene was hesitant at first, but she went ahead and did it because, that was her best friend's, last request was for that to happen. So that's the first part I wanted to talk about. The second part I wanted to talk about was later in the episode, they show Ellie and Joel, still traveling, trying to get to the Firefly hospital. They have the giraffe scene, which was in the game. And the part that really caught my attention, and this part is not in the game, is that Joel reveals to Ellie that the scar that he got on the side of his head was actually from him trying to kill himself. And he talked about how when Sarah died, he, felt like there was no point in going on. And he said he was ready to go. And right before he pulled the trigger, he flinched. And I guess that was his way of, still wanting to live. And I thought that scene was very powerful because I kind of always wondered if that actually happened with the video game version of Joel, because there is a line that Joel says at the end of the video game. He said he struggled for a long time with surviving, and I interpreted it as that he may have had suicidal thoughts. Now, I don't know if that's what he meant by that, but that's what I thought. But I did like how in the TV series that, they actually do add that to Joel's story. And, it adds to his character, because he's human. He went through a traumatic situation. He was depressed, and I liked how he said that, because Ellie makes a remark saying that time heals all wounds, and then Joel says it wasn't time that healed his wounds, and then he's looking at her, letting her know that it was her that healed his wounds. And I thought that was a really nice scene. Now, the big part of the episode that I love, which goes into the video game, is the way it ends. So basically, Joel and Ellie get ambushed by fireflies. They both get stunned by a grenade, and then they knock out Joel by hitting him over the head. Then Joel wakes up in the hospital. He talks with Marlene. He asks to see Ellie. Marlene says he can't, and that she's being prepped for surgery. And then she explains to Joel that, she talks about how Ellie is immune and that the cordyceps has been with her since birth. And that if they can remove these cordyceps, that they can make a cure. And Joel says, but the cordyceps grows in the brain. And Marlene says yes. And then that's when Joel realizes that, the fireflies have to kill Ellie to get the cure. Now, obviously, Joel doesn't want this to happen because he cares for Ellie. But Marlene wants to go through with the procedure because she feels that this is their only opportunity to get the cure. So, obviously, Joel didn't want this to happen. Marlene forces Joel to leave. And Joel ends up fighting against the fireflies. And basically, he goes through a killing spree through the hospital looking for Ellie. Then eventually he finds Ellie. He shoots the doctor that was going to do the procedure. He takes Ellie. They go down to the parking lot. And then Marlene is waiting for them. And then she tries to plead with Joel one last time to, not to take Ellie. Obviously, Joel wasn't having none of that. He shoots Marlene, leaves with Ellie. And when they're on their way back to Jackson, Ellie wakes up from, being drugged up. And that's when Joel lies to her about what happened. He tells her that, there were other people that were immune like her. And the fireflies couldn't find a cure and they just gave up on it. But obviously that was a lie because, Joel couldn't tell Ellie what really happened. And this is where the debate happens with Last of Us fans. You got some people that were on the side of the fireflies, that they should have did the procedure, that they should have done a procedure so they can get the cure. Then you got some people that believe Joel did the right thing by taking Ellie out of there because Ellie is like his second daughter. And it's actually split right down the middle. It's like half the people agree with the fireflies, half the people agree with Joel. And that's the beauty of the ending of The Last of Us, is that people still debate about that till this day. And the original game came out back in 2013, and people are still debating about it now. And now, for the people that have never played the game, now they get to see this ending in the TV series, and now they get to join in on the discussion about who was right and who was wrong. Now, as for me, I think Joel did the right thing. And I'm going to tell you why. The fireflies didn't have the decency to ask Ellie if she wanted to sacrifice herself for the potential of making a cure. they just took Ellie and they were just going to go through with the procedure. They weren't going to ask for her permission. They didn't even ask Joel if he was okay with that. They were just going to do it. So I don't blame Joel for being angry and rescuing Ellie. Now, should Joel have killed all those people in a hospital? Well, see, the thing is, realistically, there's no way he was going to be able to sneak past all those people. So I guess he was going to have to fight these guys. I mean, there was no way around it. But I do believe that Joel was right to get Ellie out of there. Now, I will say this. If the Fireflies did ask Ellie if she wanted to sacrifice herself and if she agreed to do it, then if Joel would have still did what he did and got Ellie out of there, then I would have been on the Fireflies side because, you know, the Fireflies would have done the right thing by asking Ellie if she wanted to sacrifice herself. So, and the thing is, even though I do agree with Joel rescuing Ellie, technically it was still selfish of him to do that, but I can understand why, because she's like family to him now. And obviously, if Ellie was to die, there's no way in the world Joel would be able to handle that. I mean, he already lost one daughter. If he was to lose Ellie, it would be like losing another daughter, and that just would have been mentally devastating for him. So I can sympathize with Joel. But I do kind of think he shouldn't have killed Marlene. But, you know, if he would have let her live, she would have gone after Ellie. So, I mean, but I still kind of wish he would have left her alive. Just for the simple fact that, you know, Ellie's mom did know Marlene. They were friends. And I think Ellie kind of sort of respected Marlene, you know. So I think Joe should have spared Marlene, but he didn't do it. He killed her. And another thing people got to realize, the Fireflies are not good people. Yes, their main objective is to get the cure, but the Fireflies were no angels. And I could say this because I played both the first and second game, and a lot of this stuff gets revealed in the second game. But the Fireflies did a lot of bad things. I mean, they really ain't that much different than Fedra. You know, so people saying, oh, Joe shouldn't have killed the Fireflies. But yeah, but the Fireflies, they weren't good people. If you haven't played the second game, play it. And as you go through the game, you'll see what I'm talking about, because the Fireflies weren't good people. So my only gripe with this episode, it was too short. It was only 43 minutes, which was way too short. This is the season finale. You know, this is where you're supposed to end it big. And I was hoping for at least an hour and 20 minutes. But we only got 43 minutes, which actually ended up being the shortest episode, which I thought was a strange choice. But other than that little gripe, it was a great episode. I enjoyed it. And now that people who haven't played the game but watch this TV series, comment down in the comments below on what do you think? Do you think Joe did the right thing, or do you think he did the wrong thing? And for this episode, I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. I had to take some points off for it being too damn short. But still a great episode. Lots of drama. And it has that type of ending that's very ambiguous, that it, it's, like I said, people still debate to this day on if Joel did the right thing or did he do the wrong thing. Personally, I think he did the right thing, but I kind of wish he would have did things a little different. Like, maybe he shouldn't have killed that doctor. Maybe he could have just knocked him out instead of shooting him in the head like he did. But, and I kind of wish he would have spared Marlene, but still, I understand why Joel did what he did. Ellie is like a second daughter to him. The Fireflies didn't give Ellie the courtesy of asking her if she wanted to sacrifice herself. Now, yeah, I think we all know that if they would have asked Ellie, she would have said yes, she would have did it. But the thing is, they didn't ask her. That's why I'm on Joel's side. That's the main reason why I side with Joel on this issue. But that's pretty much all I got to say about this episode. I'm looking forward to season 2. I'm hoping to see more Infected in season 2, because they kind of just teased us with the Infected in season 1. I would have liked to have seen more Infected, but hopefully they'll get an even bigger budget for season 2. I'm hearing rumors that season 2 will obviously be based on The Last of Us Part 2, but it's going to actually be broken up into separate seasons. And if that's the case, then I can't wait to see how they do this. I look forward to seeing season 2, and that's pretty much all I got to say about that.